Today, we're diving into the life and career of one of hockey's most celebrated players, Clark Gillies. This Canadian powerhouse not only left an indelible mark on the NHL, but also played a pivotal role in shaping the New York Islanders into a dynasty during the 1980s. So grab your favorite jersey, settle in, and let's explore the highs and lows of Gillies' remarkable journey on ice. Drafted fourth overall by the New York Islanders in 1974, he entered the NHL with high expectations. But even in those early days, controversies began to bubble beneath the surface. In his rookie season, Gillies faced off against Dave Schultz, known as one of the toughest enforcers in the league. Their fight during the 1975 playoffs not only established Gillies as a formidable player, but also set a precedent for his career as an enforcer. Some critics argued that this emphasis on physicality overshadowed his scoring abilities, leading to debates about whether he was more of a fighter than a skilled player. Gillies himself later stated, "I never thought about fighting or myself as an enforcer. I was on the ice to do a job, score some goals, and mainly stop the other guys from scoring." This sentiment reflects his internal struggle with the role he was expected to play versus who he wanted to be on the ice. In 1977, Gillies was named captain of the Islanders at just 22 years old. While many viewed this as a sign of respect and leadership potential, it also came with its own set of challenges. Under his captaincy, the team struggled initially, leading some to question whether he was fit for such a critical role. Despite his amiable nature and articulate speaking style, Gillies admitted to feeling uncomfortable as captain during those tough seasons. In retrospect, this period highlighted a significant controversy. Can young players truly lead teams through adversity? His tenure as captain ended when he stepped aside for Dennis Potvin before the 1979-80 season, which some saw as a sign of maturity, while others viewed it as an admission of failure. Gillies' role as an enforcer became more pronounced during the Islanders' playoff runs. He was known for protecting teammates and engaging in fights that often escalated tensions on the ice. This led to mixed opinions about his playing style. On one hand, fans loved his toughness. On the other hand, critics argued that this focus on physicality detracted from the skillful play that hockey is known for. During a particularly violent playoff series against the Boston Bruins in 1980, Gillies took on Terry O'Reilly multiple times. While this helped fuel the Islanders' drive to win their first Stanley Cup, it also raised questions about whether such brutality was necessary in hockey. Was it really about protecting teammates or simply perpetuating a culture of violence? The backdrop to the fights between Gillies and O'Reilly was set during the 1980 Stanley Cup playoffs, where the Islanders faced off against the Bruins in a highly charged second-round matchup. Both teams were known for their physical play, and with players like Gillies and O'Reilly on the ice, it was clear that this series would be hard-fought. Gillies, standing at 6'3" and weighing around 215 pounds, was not just a scoring threat, but also a formidable enforcer. O'Reilly, similarly built and known for his grit, had established himself as one of the toughest players in the league. As they took to the ice, it was evident that their encounters would be more than just about hockey. They would be about pride, toughness, and team loyalty. The first game of the series set the tone for what was to come. In a tightly contested match, Gillies scored an overtime goal to secure a 2-1 victory for the Islanders. While this moment was celebrated by Islanders fans, it also ignited tensions between both teams. The physicality escalated quickly, foreshadowing the clashes that would dominate the following games. Game 2 saw Gillies and O'Reilly drop their gloves for the first time. The fight was emblematic of their rivalry. Both players were reluctant warriors who understood that fighting was part of their roles but didn't relish it. O'Reilly later reflected on this dynamic, saying, "I knew Clark didn't want to deal with me, and I didn't want to deal with him," highlighting how both men respected each other's abilities while being forced into these confrontations by the nature of playoff hockey. In this bout, Gillies showcased his strength and fighting skill, but it wasn't just about who won or lost. It was about sending a message to each other and their respective teams. The fight energized the Islanders while simultaneously serving as a warning to the Bruins. As the series progressed into Game 3, tensions reached a boiling point. Gillies and O'Reilly squared off again, this time not once, but twice during the game. Each fight was more intense than the last, with both players exchanging heavy blows while their teammates watched closely from nearby. Gillies' ability to handle himself in these fights was crucial, not only for his reputation, but also for maintaining team morale. He had trained specifically to fight left-handed in preparation for O'Reilly's southpaw stance, showcasing his commitment to protecting his teammates and winning these crucial battles. These confrontations had a profound impact on how both teams played throughout the series. For Gillies and the Islanders, winning these fights bolstered their confidence and allowed them to play with an edge. Conversely, O'Reilly's willingness to engage in these battles demonstrated his own resilience and leadership for the Bruins. O'Reilly later described one particular moment where he collided with Gillies while competing for a puck. "We sort of came together like two rams. I went down and hit my face on the ice." This anecdote illustrates not only their physical battles, styles, but also how competitive they were in every aspect of the game. Not just fighting, but also positioning and skill. The series culminated in Game 5, where Gillies fought Al Secord after having already dealt with O'Reilly multiple times earlier in the series. By this point, Gillies had firmly established himself as not just an enforcer, but a key player who could score goals. He had already contributed significantly throughout the playoffs. The Islanders won this pivotal game, clinching their spot in the next round and eventually going on to win their first Stanley Cup title. Gillies' performance against O'Reilly was instrumental in setting the tone for what would become a legendary playoff run. The fights between Clark Gillies and Terry O'Reilly are often remembered as some of the most iconic moments of playoff hockey during that era. They encapsulated everything about hockey culture at that time: physicality, toughness, and an unwavering commitment to one's team. Both players gained immense respect from fans and peers alike for how they handled themselves on and off the ice. While some might argue that fighting detracts from hockey's artistry, others see it as an essential part of its history, a way to protect skilled players from aggressive opponents. O'Reilly later referred to Gillies as a reluctant warrior, acknowledging that while fighting was part of their roles, neither player particularly enjoyed it. This sentiment resonates with many players from that era who were thrust into similar situations, having to balance skill with physicality. In retrospect, Clark Gillies' battles with Terry O'Reilly were more than just fights. They were defining moments that highlighted their character as athletes and competitors. Both men contributed significantly to their team's identities during those fierce playoff battles. Even after retirement, both players maintained mutual respect for each other's contributions to hockey. Their encounters are now part of NHL lore, a reminder of how fierce competition can forge bonds between even the most unlikely allies. One of the most talked about controversies involving Gillies occurred after winning his first Stanley Cup in 1980. As per tradition, players get to take the cup home for 24 hours. In a moment that raised eyebrows across hockey circles, Gillies allowed his German shepherd to eat from it. When criticized for this decision, he famously replied, "Why not? He's a good dog." This incident sparked debates about respect for tradition and what it means to honor such an iconic trophy. For many fans and players alike, it seemed trivial. However, it highlighted how actions off the ice can create ripples throughout a player's legacy. After spending 14 seasons with the Islanders and winning 4 Stanley Cups, Gillies' career took an unexpected turn when he was left unprotected in the NHL waiver draft in 1986 and claimed by the Buffalo Sabres. This transition marked a significant shift, not just for him, but also for how fans perceived him. While playing for Buffalo, Gillies struggled with injuries and performance issues. His time with the Sabres lacked the same excitement and glory he experienced with New York. Some fans felt betrayed. After all those years of loyalty to one team, seeing him don another jersey felt like a betrayal of sorts. Clark Gillies was born on April 7, 1954, in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. From a young age, he showed a passion for hockey that would eventually lead him to the big leagues. Growing up in Canada, he played for the Regina Pats in the Western Canada Hockey League, WCHL, where he quickly made a name for himself. In his final season with the Pats, he scored an impressive 112 points, solidifying his status as a top prospect for the NHL. In 1974, Gillies was drafted 4th overall by the New York Islanders in the NHL amateur draft. This moment would prove to be a turning point not just for Gillies, but for the Islanders franchise itself. Gillies made his NHL debut during the 1974-75 season. Right from the start, it was clear that he was more than just an average rookie. His unique blend of size, standing at 6'3" and weighing 209 lb, and skill made him a formidable presence on the ice. He quickly became known for his ability to score goals while also being tough enough to protect his teammates. By 1977, Gillies was named captain of the Islanders, leading them through some of their most challenging years. Under his leadership, the team began to flourish, culminating in an era of dominance that saw them win 4 consecutive Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983. Imagine being part of a team that not only competes but dominates. From 1980 to 1983, Gillies and his teammates captured the Stanley Cup 4 times, a feat that solidified their legacy in NHL history. Each championship run showcased Gillies' clutch performances and physical play. He was not just a scorer, he was a player who thrived under pressure. During these playoff runs, Gillies contributed significantly, tallying 47 goals and 91 points in 164 playoff games. His ability to rise to the occasion when it mattered most made him a fan favorite and a respected figure among peers. Gillies' contributions did not go unnoticed. He was selected as an NHL All-Star 6 times throughout his career, highlighting his status as one of the league's elite players. In 1978, he received the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy, awarded to the player who best exemplifies perseverance and dedication to hockey. His career statistics are impressive. Over 958 regular season games, he scored 319 goals and recorded 378 assists, accumulating a total of 697 points. These numbers reflect not only his scoring ability, but also his all-around offensive contributions to his teams. After spending 14 seasons with the Islanders, Gillies' career took him to Buffalo when he joined the Buffalo Sabres in 1986. While his time with Buffalo was shorter and less decorated than his years with New York, Gillies continued to play with heart and determination. He played 2 seasons with the Sabres before retiring in 1988. Even though he didn't win any championships in Buffalo, his experience and leadership were invaluable to younger players on the team. After hanging up his skates, Gillies remained involved in hockey through various roles, including coaching and broadcasting. He shared his insights on the game while continuing to engage with fans who admired him during his playing days. Sadly, Clark Gillies passed away on January 21, 2022, after battling cancer. His death marked a significant loss for both fans and players alike, who had been inspired by his dedication and skill on the ice. Gillies' impact on hockey extends beyond statistics. It's about how he played the game, with heart, toughness, and an unwavering commitment to his team. His legacy is firmly cemented in NHL history as one of the key figures during one of hockey's golden eras. In recognition of his achievements, Clark Gillies was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2002, a well-deserved honor for someone who exemplified what it meant to be a professional athlete, both on and off the ice. Conclusion: Clark Gillies' journey from Moose Jaw to becoming an NHL legend is a testament to hard work, talent, and perseverance. His story is one of triumphs, 4 Stanley Cups, numerous accolades, and an enduring legacy that continues to inspire new generations of hockey players. So next time you watch an NHL game or see highlights from those legendary Islanders teams, remember Clark Gillies, the tough guy who could score, and appreciate how he helped shape hockey as we know it today.